Welcome to the Discover Universal podcast. Keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle. And watch your step on the moving walkway because we're taking you park to park to prepare you for your next visit. Let's Discover Universal.
Welcome to the Discover Universal podcast. I'm Kari, and I eat a balanced diet of Mardi Gras food, Halloween Horror Nights food, and holiday food.
And I'm David, and I like cheese.
You sure do.
They put it on lots of stuff out there.
Yeah.
In our theme park.
Yeah.
You can get it on potatoes, French fries,
Nachos.
tater tots,
Pizza.
quesadillas,
Pasta.
burritos,
Seafood.
crepes,
Shrimp.
salads.
Macaroni.
They
Burgers.
fry cheese. We got to get out there.
We got to get some cheese.
We got to get some cheese.
Today's episode is all about all things event food. And when I say events, we're talking about those large marquee events like Universal's Mardi Gras, Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, and holidays at Universal.
3 of my favorite times a year.
Absolutely.
And 3 of my favorite culinary
experiences
here at Universal Orlando Resort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite food item that you've had recently at
You're
our
making
Mardi
me
Gras?
go back through the Rolodex here?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I am thinking of something that we ate during Universal's Mardi Gras this past year.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what was it? It was like the spicy potatoes with the sauce and
Papas
the thing.
Bravas.
Look at you, Carrie.
I remembered.
Your mind is a steel trap.
Well, they were really good.
They were
quite
memorable.
Yes. And
I have the taste memory, not the word memory.
that's fair. That's fair. With our powers combined. It came on like a cute little plate and it had like everything
That's
had like
right.
flowers on it
Yeah.
or so. It just looked really fresh and beautiful. And like that's another thing. The presentation is always
Yep.
really good. Today is really exciting because not only are David and I going to run through our favorites and kind of run you down the list of what you can expect from that event food, but we also have a really cool interview with Chef Robert Martinez Jr. He is going to walk us through sort of how they come up with these ideas for marquee event
so many
food.
questions.
Me too.
So many. We're here right in the middle of Halloween Horror Nights as we're recording the episode. There are so many unique food offerings at this year's event. I have so many questions about where that kind of came from. And then, like you said, holidays at Universal are right around the corner, and I'm sure there's going to have all sorts of more delicious holiday treats, and then it'll be Universal's Mardi Gras season before we know it again. So
I'm excited.
It never stops. The
I'm
food
ready.
calendar here
I'm
at
ready.
Universal.
Year round. All right. Okay, so we're talking our favorites. And I want to start with Universal's Mardi Gras. And I will say,
Let's take a trip down memory lane.
let's do it. Because the food offerings in the past few years have become very unique,
Yes.
curated.
Specialized for the events.
Definitely. And there's food almost everywhere. For me, I feel like everywhere I look, there's like a new food truck and it's like a different international palette. And it's just been really cool to kind of sample some stuff.
That is true.
Yeah.
I'll walk around the park and be like, what's that?
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
I know.
I'm going to try that.
And now I have like some new favorites in life because I tried them at Universal's Mardi Gras.
Yes.
It's very cool.
Yes.
Okay, so I have to give a shout out to probably my favorite Mardi Gras food I've ever tried. And it is the shrimp laksa. We tried this together last year, David.
Yes. This
Yeah.
was like the noodle soup, right?
Yeah. It was
That's oversimplifying.
right. First of all, it was like a protein explosion because there was shrimp, there is tofu, chicken, and hard-boiled eggs. It has like Asian noodles and vegetables in a spicy coconut curry broth. So it was like sweet and savory and hot, and it was like perfect for the season. And I gotta tell you, I probably had that like once a week. When I would come here to work, I would on my lunch break go get a shrimp laksa.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was located in Kid Zone.
Right across from there was the Papas Bravas.
That's right.
Which were these spicy little potatoes in a sauce. Flavor explosion.
For sure.
Oh my gosh, that just made me think of the crab beignets.
Oh, you love those.
Which again was something that blew my mind because
Yeah.
it was like a savory, like beignet, like a savory crab fried dough. It was nuts.
Okay, they were doing a lot
There
of
were
that.
no nuts in it.
That's right. They were doing a lot of that last year because I want to talk about the Cosmic Mango Nada. Actually, myself and executive producer Michelle, we tried that, and it was like a sweet, savory, spicy frozen drink.
Yes.
So it was like a purple frozen mango slush, and it had like citrus seasoning and then like a savory sauce on top. It was just there was a lot of flavor combination, and they all worked together so well. Hopefully that returns. You know, that could be just in years past, and there could be new stuff for you to enjoy. But based on what we've learned in the past few seasons of Universal's Mardi Gras, the food is an incredible part of the offering.
Well, and so here we are now at Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes.
2022.
That's right.
I remember on the internet, after they had announced all the haunted houses, all the scare zones, all the themes for everything, immediately the focus turned to food.
Of course.
Like, okay, now release the menus.
Right.
Now let's see. As soon as they unveiled the menu cards in the park, photos were everywhere.
They really went with it. I mean, from the taste, the names, the presentation. I know some of the food this year is being served in like, it almost looks like meat packaging.
Yes. So that's over in we call it Sting Alley. It's a little alley in our New York Street area. But they actually built a whole food area. It's called the Meats Locker.
Yeah.
Based on a character that's from a past year of Halloween Horror Nights.
Yep.
But that's where they serve, and everything there was like meat themed.
Yeah.
Like
but
butcher shop themed food.
Coincidentally, my favorite dish from there was vegan.
Oh, that's right.
Wild. Yeah, and it was called the fried zombie brains. It was that fried cauliflower tossed in the spicy gochujang sauce.
Yeah.
Had like sesame seeds and scallions on top. Completely vegan. And it did look like you were eating just a bowl of fried zombie brains.
I'm trying to think. I think my favorite this year, we may talk about it in a different episode, but they had a twist on the Twisted Tater this year, where they had one with an actual hot dog twisted inside of the tater.
Yes, they did.
Oh my goodness.
They did.
It was called, it was like the Blood and Guts Twisted Tater. And it was like a chili dog turned up to 11.
It was really good. And it was super filling.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was a whole meal.
I just love that, like, normally, like a twisted tater is really cool because you kind of eat it like layer by layer. Like with the spiraled tater, you can kind of pick off layer by layer.
Yeah.
But like this one and then the other one they had with like the queso, it was almost like a little chips and dip situation.
Yeah.
Where you would kind of break off your layer of potato, and
It was so good.
it was delicious.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Also, one of my favorite things about Halloween Horror Nights is they always have themed beverages.
Oh, yeah.
Both alcoholic and non-alcoholic. So for our friends who are 21 and up, you can enjoy the really cool themed beers that they have, some of the cool themed liquor cocktails as well.
They always have like specially mixed drinks as well.
Yep.
And then everyone wants the flashy glowy cup.
You got to get the souvenir
The light up cup.
It's the way to do it. That's right. Smart. Well done.
This year they had popcorns. They had popcorn buckets.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. We're still in the middle of the event. So
we're still thinking of things. But perhaps maybe someone is listening to this as holidays at Universal are rolling around.
And we are coming upon that season shortly.
Very shortly.
So you got to prepare. If you're not preparing yourself for the food, you got to start training now.
Oh man, they had like a hot chocolate bomb last year. I love in the sweet shops, in our bakeries, they always come up with the most beautiful holiday decorated cookies and treats
Gorgeous.
and fudge and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. I love that the whole resort pitches in when it comes to holidays at Universal.
Absolutely.
Because my favorite holiday offering is over at Toothsome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast Kitchen. They, in the past few years, have had a specialty milkshake, a holiday exclusive. And y'all, they had a gingerbread milkshake. All right, I got to break this down. White chocolate ice cream, caramel, chocolate ganache, red standing sugar, a fresh baked gingerbread cookie, like a big one.
A big one.
Like stuck in the top of the milkshake. And I'm a huge like gingerbread fan. I like, when you get like house smells for your house and stuff, I always gravitate towards gingerbread for the holidays. So this was
I just make houses out of it. I don't eat it.
That's very resourceful. It was delicious, and it kept me hanging out at Universal City Walk.
And feeling in the holiday spirit, sounds like. Yeah.
Right. Voodoo Donuts sometimes has a specialty donut, so you can pop over there and check it out. Again, more holiday exclusives all around the resort.
The holiday and seasonal milkshake offerings at Toothsome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast Kitchen are so fun and like such a surprise every year. Like, we don't know for sure, but I imagine it will not be the gingerbread again this year. They'll probably have thought of something new.
Yes.
This year at Halloween, there was one with a witch's cauldron on top and like candy flowing out of it.
Yeah.
Those milkshakes have almost become a reveal in their own of what crazy cool thing they're going to come up with next.
Honestly, that goes for the food at all of our events, all of our marquee
events. The Mardi Gras had an Easter basket this year.
Okay. Y'all, listen. If you haven't come to these events and food is not at the top of your priority list, You got to check out these menus. I'm telling you, people really flock to Universal Orlando Resort for the food offerings. They're always unique. They're always fun. They're always super integrated to the season, to the story. For example, like this year, like we talked about Halloween Horror Nights, it just really elevates the event. So take advantage of it.
Yes.
Get here and go out there and try some new stuff.
And don't take our word for it.
Yep.
I think now's about a good time to bring in our very special guest for our episode to learn all about our seasonal marquee event, food offerings, and more here at Universal Orlando Resort. Let's welcome our chef.
We are so lucky to be hanging out with Chef Robert Martinez Jr.
Thank you guys so much for having me here this morning.
Should we call you Chef Robert?
Sure.
Okay.
A lot of people call me Chef Junior, though.
Chef Jr. I like that. Then we're like in the club.
You're in the club.
Okay, Chef
Absolutely.
Jr. Chef, what is your title here at Universal?
I am the executive sous chef for research and development here at Universal.
Ooh,
That's very cool.
research and development.
Big title.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Research and development jumped out to me there. So what does that involve?
So basically, all of culinary innovation, any new projects, and of course, all the special events that we've been all raving about lately.
That's awesome.
But I'm actually just curious in you and your story and your history with Universal. Like, how'd you end up here?
So I've been working with Universal for 20 years.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, I started as an hourly production cook,
Cool.
and I worked myself through all the ranks. I worked in a lot of the kitchens throughout Universal, throughout Islands of Adventure, and throughout my career, I ended in the production kitchen, which is a big commissary kitchen that we have in the back of the house here. And a lot of the restaurants in our resort are being supported by that production kitchen. There's a lot of talented chefs in that kitchen. And that's really where I got the bug for the love of cooking. To be honest with you, Universal was a summer job. I wasn't expecting to be here. Food was probably not where I was gonna say my career was gonna end off on. But there was just something about how I felt when guests would come and tell us how amazing the food was 20 years ago. And in that kitchen, there's, like I said, there's just so much talent and so many chefs that at the time wanted to give back what they knew and all these techniques that they had with them themselves. And they started giving me that, and I just started putting it into myself, into my little toolbox. And it just became a love.
That's amazing. Well, you can feel it. You can feel it as a guest, as someone who experiences the food offerings. You can feel how important it is to the people that create that food, that it's good, that it's delicious, that it's inclusive. You can really taste that passion.
Back in the day, 20 years ago, I think guests came and they really wanted to go on our rides and they really wanted to see our shows. And eating and drinking was something that they just needed to do because they needed to do it throughout the
Stay
day
hydrated,
to survive this heat.
Right.
But today, it's very, very much an equal part of the overall experience for our guests. And from a culinary brigade, we know that. We understand that. And, our creative department is so amazing at immersing our guests in whatever IP we're working on or whatever land it is. And we have just as much of a priority in making sure that our food matches that.
That's the whole Universal
sums it up. I
mission
love
statement, food mission statement.
It is the mission statement for us.
I can tell, especially we're right in the middle of Halloween Horror Nights 2022. For the first time, for me personally, I'm now experiencing the food as part of the story. We just talked about the meats locker over at Sting Alley. We sampled some of that the other night during team member preview. Even the packaging, the theming, the naming of everything, it heightens all the entertainment that's going on around you. So from a research and development standpoint, talk to us how you arrived at that offering over there in Sting Alley.
Well, You hit it on the head. That's exactly what we want our guests to feel. We don't want them to just walk by tents that are cooking food, and it's an overall experience. And I can't take the credit. I have a very, very talented team. I have a pastry chef on my team. I have some amazing savory chefs on my team, and they're very, very creative. So I challenge them to walk our parks and to just get inspired by the facades that they would see and how we could take that and add on to it as we're going through our events. Sometimes there's hidden gems and Easter eggs out here that we don't even notice because we're walking by them every single day. But when you're really analyzing it and you start thinking of the event that might be coming, things start to, to get creative inside your mind. And for example, the Meets booth that we have in Sting Alley, that's probably one of the most themed and very thought out concepts that we've done for HHN. I recently had a chef go to Beijing to help open the Beijing resort out there. And obviously there's a lot of Chinese influence, a lot of Chinese food going on over there. And that's how the chicken offals came to life with the crispy chilies and the peanuts and the sesame, and then taking that gochujang sauce and tossing the cauliflower brains with it. We really wanted to make this gory locker, this meat butcher shop scene, and we just thought that Sting Alley was the best place to do it. And normally we don't use Sting Alley because it's a little tight. But this year we made it happen, and I think that's what you'll see. That we, it takes a lot of people to make this happen. The shared service team here has a special events team, and we meet weekly and think these ideas through. Some of them are out there, and some of them. And, some of them are hard to convince everyone that this will work and that it's more than just the food. It's the whole overall experience. It's what the guests see when they walk up to the tent. It's what the guests smell. It's what they hear. And that's really how we are now immersing our guests within our menus for these special events.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's put a hot dog in a twisted tater.
I'm sold. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean,
That was
how
one
do
of
you
my
make a
favorites
twisted
this year.
tater better, right? You just put a hot dog in it.
That's right. That's one of the ways to make anything better, in my opinion. Just
I think
throw a
so.
hot dog in it. Right?
Absolutely.
So good.
I'm super curious about being in that room with you guys, in that kitchen when you guys are being creative. Like, what does that process sort of look like? Are you making a lot of different versions of these menu items and testing things out? Like, how do you arrive at start from an idea and get to a finished product?
So we start off with brainstorming sessions where we're all sitting in a room and we throw. I like to do this exercise where I give them 5 to 10 minutes and we throw as many ideas to the drawing board as possible. No idea is a dumb idea, and we work ourselves backwards from all those ideas. So you'll get some out of this world ideas that are written on these Post-it notes, to some that really, really make sense, to some that makes sense with another Post-it note. And my team enjoys that exercise because there's no time to really think it through. There's no time to analyze what you're going to write down. You have 5 minutes and the clock starts now. So go. And we normally start that way. Obviously, we build our way into having relationships with our entertainment partners, and then we realize what all the theming will be for, let's say, for HHN, and then we start taking some of these ideas and these food concepts that we've already have written up, and then we start really tweaking them and refining them to certain IPs or certain themes for our special events.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in those meetings.
Gosh.
I want to see the rejected ideas. I want to see the crazy Post-it notes that people throw out there.
There's a booth for next year. The rejected ideas booth.
I'm in. Put a hot dog there. It'll be great. Chef, do you have a favorite? So I'm assuming that you get to experience it as a guest at some point. Do you have a favorite holiday offering, a favorite Halloween Horror Nights offering, maybe a favorite Mardi Gras offering?
So if we're talking about HHN this year,
Sure.
the maggot corn dog is probably one of the best themed. It just seems like it was created by HHN itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for our listeners who haven't seen it or seen the menu, what are the quote unquote maggots?
So the maggots are puffed rice.
Okay, thank goodness.
So
Okay, just want to make sure.
Korean style corn dog. There's a hot dog in there, and there's a piece of mozzarella cheese inside of them. So you do
Put
get
cheese in
an
it.
amazing cheese pull when you bite into it. But the outside of it is coated in maggots and sesame seeds, so it
Puffed rice.
looks really unappetizing. However, it's delicious and crunchy, and it has this gochujang aioli that we put on it. So those that don't know what gochujang is, like a fermented chili paste that we turned into an aioli, and it just gives you that little spice kick, and it's just delicious.
I have a friend who just spent a year in Korea, and based on her and her cooking, we've just started putting gochujang on everything.
So
I
delicious.
put it on my breakfast. I
There
put it
you
on
go.
everything. Oh, it's so good.
And actually, that's the sauce that's being made in-house in our production kitchen that we toss
In-house?
the chicken offals in the meats locker and the cauliflower brains as well.
That was one of my favorites, where it meets meats.
Yeah.
So good. And it's cool, the maggot / puff rice covered cheese dog.
Yeah, and and I think one of the other things from HHN that I really, really love is the ground princess and the ground bear that you also get in the meats.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's playful. We package them in containers that you would see your hamburger meat come in, and I just thought, how better to package everything in a butcher shop, but in that kind of manner. And our guests love it. They get it. I've read comments that they just want to take it home and just keep it as souvenirs, and to us, that's just what it's about.
I thought about that. We had some, and I unwrapped it, and I was like, should I keep this plastic? Like,
You
this is a
might.
special custom label on it
Right.
and everything?
Yeah, and the label has a few Easter eggs on
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
So you got to read through the label. It's really fun.
So I'm thinking, like, when you're thinking of new offerings for an event or when you're being inspired by it, some of it has got to be like the guest experience. We know the guests are going to be taking photos. We know the guests are going to be sharing photos. Like, is that part of your thinking? I guess where does sort of the overall inspiration sort of come from? Where do you draw from?
We draw from everywhere. We draw inspiration from walking the parks and seeing our guests and seeing what they say and when they bite into something, what their reaction might be. That's how we draw a lot of our inspiration. We're constantly on social media. We truly understand that social media is a huge, huge part of our industry today. Mm-hmm. And we take that very seriously. So we really go and we get our guest feedback. We listen to what they say. So, and then I draw inspiration from my chefs. The team that I have, they have some really cool ideas. Some that, I just look at them like, are you guys really serious right now? But they're like, chef, trust me, it's going to work. It's, and I can't count how many times that's happened where they've come into my office with an idea and that idea has taken off, and it's been great for us.
That's awesome. What a collaborative process that you guys have in that kitchen.
Yeah, they're very talented, all of them, and I cannot solely take the credit because it takes a village. It takes all of us to be able to put this together and to stay ahead of the trends. Right, we're constantly following the trends. We're following how that relates to us and how we could make some of those trends come to life at Universal. Theme park food is this statement that it has to be put into a certain box, and it doesn't. We could be just as good as any standalone restaurant. It's just good food nowadays. It's not theme park food.
For sure. I'm noticing that as well because it does seem that there's an influx of vegan options, of vegetarian options, of anybody that has a dietary restriction. I see that on the menu, and I see you guys really working to make it an inclusive, eating an inclusive event with everyone. How are you able to kind of tweak those recipes?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of life, and we've seen that evolution happen within our resort. I want to say 10 years ago, we were not seeing that come through a lot. But in today's day, we do not create a menu without thinking of our vegans, without thinking of dietary restrictions, without thinking of just the way people want to eat and their diets, and how that may affect a party of 5 and 2 of them may be vegan, and how they may not be able to find something on our menus to enjoy. And that bothers us. So, today we have over 80 vegan items spread out throughout our resort. And that's a good amount, because they're not like, you could have this, but take this and this away, and then it becomes vegan. They're truly, truly vegan items that are just delicious. And that's just how we work them up. If they're delicious, like the cauliflower brains, they're on the menu. And if a non-vegan could enjoy it, that's the stamp of approval, right?
I love it. One of my favorite things on property is the barbecue jackfruit.
Yeah.
Vegan option. One of my favorites. Okay, well, the holidays are coming up, and we don't want to ask for something that you can't give, but is there any kind of teaser about maybe some new holiday treats or offerings that you may be coming up with?
Well, you could just expect some really cool desserts to come out to all our bakeries. That's a given. Today Cafe is right down the street here. You could definitely see some really cool desserts that are going to be there. And then you could just see a lot of the continuation of the immersion that we've been doing. So we're just continuing to add on to what we've been doing, and we're just having fun with it. So yeah, I mean, holidays are going to be really fun. Holidays, for a culinary standpoint, is very dessert driven. It normally always is, and we enjoy that. Holidays is one of those times that our guests really love. They're away from home, but they come and spend it with us, and we want to give them that home feeling when they come here. So we would definitely be doing Thanksgiving dinners in our full-service restaurants at Confisco's, Lombard's, Big Fire. But definitely we'll have Thanksgiving dinners for the day of Thanksgiving, and some just cool seasonal items. We love to utilize our seasons nowadays. You guys who've been following us now see that as well. So we capture every season now. So fall, spring, summer, we're constantly flipping our menus to get that produce at the peak of its harvest so that we could make delicious food for our guests. And we're flipping all our menus constantly to be able to have the best produce in our restaurants.
Is there like a favorite like holiday treat that you think of from even growing up or from your family or something that you've kind of like brought into the park?
Well, yeah. So it's funny. So I want to say it was 2 years ago, we had was it Earl the Squirrel? We had a beverage for him. And most people don't know, but the beverage is actually a Puerto Rican themed beverage. It's actually coquito.
So I was gonna say,
yeah. So we kind of played off the coconut inspiration, or the nut inspiration of the word for Earl the Squirrel, and we made him a signature beverage. But that was one of the most delicious beverages. I drink coquito every Christmas, right? I mean, it's like a staple in a Puerto Rican household.
My grandma would make it growing up, and I loved it.
Yeah, and we were serving it with rum, and it had like a little piece of coconut cake on the top, and it was amazing. And it would definitely, make me feel like I was at home. So that's fun. And we've been doing that lately, for Mardi Gras, I want to say as well, when we had the Carnival. We had the Puerto Rican tent, and I'm Puerto Rican. My family's Puerto Rican, and we were doing mofongo, and we were actually mashing. And for those who don't know what mofongo are, they're like flash fried plantains that you then take and you mash in a pilon with some crispy pork rinds and a little stock. And you kind of mash it and it turns into like this plantain mash. And we were making that for our guests with some slow roasted pork. And that felt like home to me as well. And as you walk the park, you would see these long lines on the Puerto Rican tent, and you knew it was because of that. Yeah.
Good mofongo. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
You're like, I'm not going to pick a favorite, but
That's my
That's the tent. That's the way to do it.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. I'm so looking forward to the holidays. I'm so looking forward to Universal Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras next year. Oh,
yeah.
man.
Like
Yeah,
I said,
so-
for our listeners out there, now you can start planning your trip around the food. The rides are cool, the shows are awesome, and the Mardi Gras parade's off the hook. But the food for me is the star. I'm
Yeah.
so ready to sample some new stuff.
And that's actually what we're working on now. That's how far in advance we are. So we're working on Mardi Gras now.
Okay.
To make sure that, it's going to deliver. And it's going to deliver with some great flavors. We want to tap into as many nationalities as possible. And we want to bring our guests those flavors that they might miss from home while they're here. And we obviously know that there's so much ethnicity out in our parks. There's so much culture out walking and enjoying our rides, and we want to give them those flavors that they might be missing from home.
That's what it's all about.
Last question. We asked Chef Marcus, we put him in a tough spot. We got to ask you too. Do you have a favorite food item or restaurant in the park? Doesn't have to be events, since you touch a little bit of everything out here.
Yeah.
So what's your go-to out here at Universal Orlando?
Wow, that's like picking one of my kids. Yeah, you're gonna get me in trouble. There's no way I'm gonna be able to walk
I think
into
Chef
some of
Marcus
these
said
restaurants
exactly the
later.
same thing.
But then he told us his favorites anyway.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I love all the City Walk restaurants. I truly do. Vivo Italian Kitchen is one of my favorites. Just the vibe that you get when you walk in there, it's just romantic. It's really cool. You're watching these chefs make pasta, so you know that your pasta is going to be delicious. We have an amazing chef in that restaurant who's been there since day one. But one that kind of it has a special place in my heart is Today Cafe. It's just
We there all the time. It's
We
right
do.
next to our
it's
studio.
right next door to you guys,
Yep.
so I'm sure you guys probably know the menu very, very well.
Yep.
But when I started here 20 years ago, as a 16-year-old, I started in what was then called the Boulangerie, which today is Today Cafe. And I would be cutting cookie logs and making croissant sandwiches all day long. So it was surreal to me when we were going to take that and turn it into Today Cafe, that's where I started my career here. And now I have the opportunity to make the menu for that amazing restaurant. And the whole concept with Today Cafe is we want it to be relevant today, what's going on today, to hit the trends of today. Also, it's being made fresh today. So we make our croissants there, all our pastries. I mean, it doesn't matter. You might walk in there on a Monday, and on a Friday, you're going to see a new dessert in that cabinet. It's just the way we love to continuously evolve Today Cafe. There's some really cool healthy items in there, overnight oats for breakfast, or dragon fruit chia pudding. The sandwiches are in there are amazing. The Bulls and the Bears, one of my favorite sandwiches. The 30 Rock is one of my favorite sandwiches as well. The salads are trendy and delicious, and it just has that fresh feel. Not that everything that we make is fresh, and we're very we love to make a lot of the stuff from scratch here at Universal Orlando. I think there's a misconception that we buy a lot, and then very quickly when people start to really dig into our program, they realize that there's a lot more that goes into it. I tell my chefs all the time, there's families that they save for many years to come visit us. So it's a lot put on our shoulders to make sure that not only did they have the best ride and then they went to the best show, but that meal that they had, it did something to them. It gave them a memory. It gave them something to go back home and talk about. Like I said, it became a full, equal part of the overall experience.
I love it. This has been one of my favorite
cool.
interviews.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Chef. Thanks for coming. We can't wait. We're going to have to go eat something in the park. I'm feeling inspired.
Me
to
too.
go eat
Inspired to eat?
Me too. Let's go eat that
Inspired to go eat
fresh
some lunch.
stuff out there. Chef Junior, you are awesome. Thanks so much for joining
Well,
us.
thank you guys so much for having me. Anytime you guys want, I'm here.
Hey,
Yay!
can't wait. Today's lunch break is featuring Confisco Grille at Port of Entry at Universal's Islands of Adventure. You can't miss it.
It
It's
is right there
right
on
on
the
the right
corner.
side once you get to the end of Port of Entry, right before you have to make a decision of which way you're going to go around Islands of Adventure.
That's right. It is delicious and it's a very eclectic menu. So it caters to a lot of different palates. There's also some vegan and vegetarian options as well. We started with some ahi tuna nachos. There was some sesame seared ahi tuna, some diced avocado, edamame, napa cabbage, wonton chips, jalapeno, micro cilantro, scallions, sweet soy, and wasabi and drizzles. And that was all on one plate.
Can I tell you, this dish is one of my favorite things.
It's delicious. It's
I love
plentiful.
ahi tuna. I love it in nacho form. These were fantastic.
And I do have to
It
say,
was a nice big plate for the
Yeah.
whole table to share.
I want to say a big shout out to the wait staff. Our executive producer, Michelle, is allergic to avocados. So they were very careful to make sure that those were removed from the dish, put on the side. And then when they brought them to the table, they asked who at the table had the allergy and they put the avocados on the opposite side of the table. So that's just some extra precautions that were taken for a specific food allergy. So nice work, wait staff.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
And moving on to the main course, we had a nice little sampling of all over the menu.
Yeah.
I had, if I may,
You may.
I had sweet and sour sticky ribs.
Tell me more.
By recommendation from our awesome waiter.
Yep.
So the menu reads Philippine-inspired smoked pork ribs tossed in a sweet and sour sauce on top of an Asian cabbage slaw. They were so delicious.
They looked really good and they were
I just
well
went
presented.
in. They were stacked like a wood pile.
Yes. Yeah. Looked good.
But I went for it. I took one bite with a fork and a knife, and I said, you know what? We're all friends here. I'm going in on these ribs.
You go for it. You went ham on those ham bones.
I did. They were very, very good.
They
What'd
were
you
delicious.
get?
I got the lemon chicken soy lettuce wraps. I've had them before. They're scrumptious. Another really big appetizer platter. If there's a table there, it's great to get them for the whole table. It's marinated chicken pieces. There's some beautiful, delicious bib lettuce, pickled daikon, radish, cellophane noodles, and crushed peanuts with water chestnuts. It's just like a really cool Asian dish that you can wrap them up and make yourself a little lettuce taco. And some cool sauces as well. 2 different sauces. One was like a Thai chili, sweet Thai chili sauce. And the other one was like a brown soy sauce. I don't know. Everything was delicious.
It looks so good.
I ate the
saw
whole
you making your little wraps and dipping them and everything.
I was. It was messy.
Also at the table, we had the Hearthstone baked chicken sandwich, which was this amazing chicken caprese sandwich. We had the pan roasted salmon. We had a quesadilla. It was great. Everybody was happy. Everything was delicious.
Very good.
And such a cool restaurant, too. There's so much stuff in there. I remember way back to when we did our very first episode
Yes.
about Islands of Adventure.
Yes.
We were talking about the story of Confisco and how there's little touches from all the different islands around Islands of Adventure in that restaurant. So
It's really cool.
I had fun kind of looking around and exploring and seeing a Triceratops, skull hanging from the ceiling and cartoon characters and all stuff everywhere. So
Totally. If you get a chance to go to Confisco Grille, you can look up. You can see a representation of all those islands as well. So do some of your own Easter egg spotting.
hey, Confisco Grill, thanks for lunch. Another mind-blowing interview with one of our incredible executive chefs here at Universal Orlando.
I always learn so much from them.
I think these are my favorite episodes.
Me too.
Don't tell the other episodes.
Don't tell anybody.
But there's something about talking food.
Yeah.
It's creative, it's delicious, it's visual.
Some of my favorite things. And we had to take them up on that invitation to come visit the production kitchen.
Oh, I'm there.
I'm ready. I want that to be an episode. Executive producer Michelle, we're coming for that episode. We are here. We have had so much fun talking about all of the event dining for our seasonal marquee events. I think we need to do a little Take 5 rewind and talk about our favorite VIP tips. Let's do it.
Number 1, enjoy all the unique food offerings all around Universal Orlando Resort. We have unique immersive menus now for our seasonal events, even including packaging and names and themed elements that are mixed into some classic favorites like elevating a corn dog, elevating a twisted tater or a pizza fry. And looking forward to new treats for the holidays, new treats for Mardi Gras next year. I cannot wait to see what's next.
Number 2, Chef Jr. reminded us that they do use fresh ingredients. So each menu item is curated for that produce that is available at peak season. They are always rotating the dishes on the menu. They have offerings that highlight seasonal favorites like Thanksgiving, or they bring in some of those bright spring flavors or spooky stuff.
Like, remember that really cool summer flatbread we had at Today Cafe?
Yeah.
And it had like watermelon and corn, and it sounds crazy, but it was delicious and it's super fresh.
It totally worked. It was great. Brought in some of those great bright flavors. So know that when you come, there's going to be something different that is going to be for you to enjoy, because it's always changing.
Number 3, we definitely want to take your dietary needs into consideration. If you are eating vegetarian, vegan, if you're gluten sensitive, have any allergies, be sure to bring that up to your wait staff. They'll be happy to check on you. Check with the chefs at the restaurant, make sure everything you're eating is good for you, good for what you need it to be. And not to mention, our executive chef talked about how they sort of think about that stuff ahead of time too. They want to make sure there are some of those options already on the menu that you get to enjoy and you don't feel like you're missing out on anything.
Number 4, there are inclusive menu items around the park, and that's for our international guests, or maybe our guests, this side of the pond that have an international palate. Know that there was Puerto Rican meals during Universal's Mardi Gras 2022. Also in the Jurassic Park land at Universal's Islands of Adventure at a restaurant called Thunder Falls Terrace, they have a roasted pernil combo that's a Latin-inspired dish, and there's a lot of dishes all throughout the park, so I encourage you to get on the official Universal Orlando app.
And number 5, it should go without saying, but make dining a part of your theme park plan. Chef said their goal is to create these menus that inspire, that leave you with lasting memories, and give you a little taste of home, right? So like Kari said, use that Universal Orlando app. You can check out the menus all across the resort and plan a special moment at one of our dining locations.
I'm going to do that.
I think I will too.
I think we should.
Let's
go to dinner.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to list some more things that have cheese in them first?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. There's cheese bread.
Nachos.
There's cheese nachos. Yeah, queso. Pizza.
Nachos.
Thank you to Chef Jr. Thank you to our executive producer, Michelle, and our engineer, Art.
David, this has been fun. Let's go eat some more. To learn more about Universal Parks and Resorts, head to our show notes for links to our Discover Universal blog for a more in-depth look around our destination. While you're there, sign up to receive emails that will include articles, videos, and this podcast delivered right to your inbox to prepare for your next vacation. If you liked what you heard, leave us a review and don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.